Your goal is to reward women who are living and doing the right thing up front, not trying to convert her and change her into the version of a woman that you think that you can now respect.
Now, new men being held to old expectations of the past. How is that weighing down on, like you said, especially men under 25 or so, right?
Yeah. Number one, I don't even, although they say that, I don't know that that's actually technically true in terms of them holding us to the standard that they held, that our fathers or grandfathers was held to. And this is what I mean by that. It's technically true. You're supposed to provide, you're supposed to protect, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. And like, oh, okay, sure. But what's different in comparison to this form of provision and this form of protection? Well, in the area of provision, we have to make substantially more during inflation than your daddy or granddaddy had to make in order to achieve and accomplish and experience the same things. Granddaddy, whose money went way further and made way less, was able to have up to 6 children, right? I, you know, I'm moving in a direction where at some point I'm probably going to eclipse what both my parents ever made in a single fiscal year combined, in order to get a home that's literally comparable to what I grew up in the same state. So yeah, I have to provide, but my provision looks way, way different. So when we say, all right, well, what's different in terms of protection? Well, back then, for the most part, our fathers and grandfathers primarily had to worry about the men that she saw in person, right? That was pretty much it. We had to make sure she was safe, that, you know, she wasn't in unsafe situations. You're dealing with a market of women where there's a heavy percentage of them that has been indoctrinated to believe that men critiquing, stating, and giving feedback about things that she's doing that can make her unsafe and undermine the relationship and put you in potentially in danger, you're now seen as insecure. You're now seen as being possessive, controlling. So as an example, a woman who constantly feels the need to display and share everything that she got going on social media, the new car we got, when we on vacation, what she's displaying in terms of her body, she's putting out there potentially too much information to too many of the wrong individuals. And she's increasing your chances for a potentially negative interaction with another man. So, as an example, she's posting all when we on vacation. We got the luxury jewelry. We got all this stuff, and it's constantly on social media, constantly on social media, constantly on social media. The wrong man that pays enough attention, if he can find out what her husband does, and he can figure out where he works, and if he finds out that he travels for work, guess who's home with her? Not him. If him and her are constantly going on trips 3, 4, 5 times a year, and she's constantly posting it while you're out on trips, all they got to do is a quick Google search and a little digging, and they'll find out where your residence is. You come back and your spot is empty. So you're now dealing with an environment where it takes more and requires more in order for you to both protect them and provide them, which is way more of a higher standard than our predecessors had to.
And it's crazy. You mentioned that, right? So I said this, and a lot of people don't understand it. And men don't understand this. Like, bro, the options that women have are infinite compared to what they was 30, 40 years ago, 2 generations ago. Okay.
Yeah.
They were limited to only the men in their vicinity and the men they actually ever came into contact with.
Yeah.
Now, like you said, hey, she looked good enough. She posting that ass. She posting that body, pretty in the face, and so on and so forth. Shaq be in everybody DMs. Okay. Okay. There's always some guy out there, you know what I mean, that's above you, more likely not, because 95%. There's that 1% guy out there. And like you said, what you come to find out, these women know this. So please understand, if that woman got to post herself and body and all that stuff and all this on and so forth, bro, she fishing, right?
Yeah.
And like you said,
Yeah.
all it takes is one DM dive, and you never
Mm-hmm.
know, right?
So yeah, man, that part about that I haven't said this publicly yet, but I think in regards to women and how they present themselves publicly, especially prior to marriage and prior to engagement, I think men need to stop commenting on it. And this is going to sound revolutionary, but hear me out. Your goal is to reward women who are living and doing the right thing up front, not trying to convert her and change her into the version of a woman that you think that you can now respect, because you already know who she really is. So if she doesn't self-correct, or if she doesn't avoid these things, you're going to spend an awful lot of time trying to jump through the mental hoops for why she's allowed to do it, why she's allowed to present herself a certain way. And the very thing that she was advertising to get your attention, she can still keep doing while you're now in her life. Stop wasting your time with women that you're not compatible with in terms of long-term commitment. If you're interested in that,
AKA,
my issue is, and I remember when I was talking to her, and at first she was a little bothered by the fact that I would be like, there's we only have two categories. Those we'll have fun with, and those we'll take seriously. And she was like, so how do you distinguish the difference between them two? Well, the starting point is how you look, your presentation. And she's like, well, you can't just judge a woman. Yes, we can, and we will. And I challenge men to start to be more intentional with that when it comes to long-term commitment and relationships. Think of it this way. And I'm sure people have heard something along these lines. When men are going to strip clubs, are they bringing engagement rings and looking for their wife?
never.
Why is that? They half naked, they sexy, they beautiful, they charismatic, they're sultry. Why aren't men, if these are some of the most beautiful women in the city, bodies are drop dead gorgeous, bad, super bad in the face, like all the whole nine. If showing as much as possible is the new it wave, why aren't men taking wedding rings or engagement rings and going into clubs, lounges, and strip clubs to find their wife?
Because
Because
she
they
for
know,
sale.
because they see that as for sale. They see it as transactional. They see it as recreational and for fun. What's happening is a huge demographic of women, our women included, have now bought into, I can double dip. I can dress like them, dance like them, carry myself like them, promote myself like them, but I still should be treated as if I'm not them. My argument is, as men, you don't try to correct that. You let women be who they're going to be, and you respond accordingly.